And happy Thanksgiving to all you guys out there. All right. It's Mike and Dylan, and we're back for another Sunday social podcast, social hour, however you want to play it. We're here to help you with your start sits for the week. All right, guys. And before we get started here, please smash that like button down below. Also, hit that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it, and it really does help us in the long run. It really means a lot. Hits me right in the heart here
Yep.
when you press the subscribe button. But before we move on, because we want to jump right into things, we started a little late here. We're just going to go through some injuries real quick because we got a lot. Cardinals, Greg Dortch, listed as questionable for Sunday, unlikely to play versus the Chargers. They've also ruled out Rondell Moore, and they are activating Marquise Brown, and he will be on a snap count. All right. Then we have Alvin Kamara, who is expected to play. He was popping up on the injury report with an illness. You have Allen Robinson, who is dealing with a foot injury, is not likely to play today. Deebo Samuel, questionable with that hamstring injury, is expected to play, barring any setbacks pregame against the Saints. Josh Jacobs, listed as questionable with that calf injury, is likely to play. Same thing, barring any setbacks. And then Matthew Stafford is unsure of his return for the season with this concussion. So he could be done for the year, possibly. Keep an eye on that. And then the big news of the day, Justin Fields will not be starting. It's going to be a Trevor Simeon versus Mike White type of day. And yes, that means Zach Wilson is out as well. He is inactive. It's Mike White and Joe Flacco for the Jets. And then
Probably should just start Joe Flacco. I don't know why they're kind of toying with Mike White. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. If you're trying to make a playoff push, if you want to see what Mike White could do, sure. But if you're trying to make a playoff push, which they probably should, you should just go with Flacco, in my opinion.
Moving on to the Buccaneers inactives. Leonard Fournette is inactive. We got Russell Gage, who is also inactive as well. I got no comments on that, Dylan.
That's fine.
And then moving on to the Bengals, Jamar Chase is officially inactive today, even though he did get a couple practices in. Joe Mixon is also out, so fire up those Samaje Perine shares. I already said that Zach Wilson is out. James Robinson popped up as an inactive for today, so possibly there should be some upside there for Michael Carter. And then Gus Edwards, who was questionable, is expected to play. He is active, and same with Devin Duvernay and Demarcus Robinson. Oh, wow, they were hurting. Logan Thomas from the Commanders, he was questionable with the rib. He is active. And then you got the Broncos inactives. Jerry Jeudy out. KJ Hamler out. So looks like another Hilton day. This one was a big one. Raheem Mostert, officially inactive for the Dolphins. All right. He's his running mate, Jeff Wilson, is going against the Houston Texans, who allow the most rushing yards to any opponent in the league. So that's always a great matchup. Fire those Jeff Wilson shares up. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary here for any other inactives. And I'm sure if I do, I will let you guys know right away.
Sounds good. So, we got a couple live comments to start off the show. Good morning, Bob.
Bob Dole.
Geno Smith or Kyler Murray?
Man, Kyler Murray's it's hard to trust him coming off that hamstring injury.
Yeah, it is.
And Geno does have a great matchup. I still lean Geno in this case, just slightly because of the matchup here. But I can understand why you would want to play Murray as well. Personally, I would be going with Geno Smith. It feels a little bit safer with the injury to Murray. But like I said, I can see you going both ways with Murray as well, because if he is healthy, he does add a rushing floor that Geno Smith won't add.
Yeah, he does. I'm trusted Geno in this one. From Richard, full PPR, need an RB and a flex. Perine, Boyd, Latavius Murray. Yeah, in my opinion, you go both the running backs here.
Man, yeah, it's Boyd having a down week last week. T. Higgins was the one who ate it all up. Your safer options going Latavius and Perine here, but yeah, man, Boyd could definitely win you that week. So if you're down big, you can throw Boyd in there, go for it. But if you want to play it safe, go Perine, Latavius.
Yep. Need a wide receiver 2, Tyreek Hill, Lockett, Godwin, Juju, full PPR. I have Hill in. Yep, that's where you go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm reading that right. That's what I.
Well, Yeah, Tyler Lockett, Tyreek Hill, Godwin, and Juju, full point PPR. Oh, I guess he wants us to choose from Lockett, Godwin, and Juju. Yeah, it's Godwin for me then. If
Yeah,
that's the case,
Godwin as
Hill
well.
and,
Yep.
Hill and Godwin.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. We got one from Ethan here. Cordero Patterson, Connor, ETN start 2.
Cordero Patterson.
I think that's ETN and Connor, man. I'm a little worried about Cordero with Algier actually out touched him last week.
Yeah.
So
Patterson got the red zone work though.
Yeah, nobody's getting the passing game work either in this one. So I'm kind of weary of Patterson rest of the season. Last year when he was good, Mike, he thrived off the workload early. And that's just
he
not
flamed
the
out
case.
at the end when he didn't get the workload, which is kind of what we see happen. Well, kind of what's happening now. Because Tyler Algier is finally getting more comfortable in that offense. He's getting his whistle wet.
Yes, he is.
But it's Connor and ETN, and I mean, don't be surprised if Patterson gets a touchdown on your bench, man. But he's not going to have more carries than Connor. That's why you're playing Connor.
Yeah, no doubt. Next one, we got Deep Superflex Dynasty League. Fields and Mills are out and need to fill the Superflex spot.
Oh, that's rough.
Could get Simeon or Kyle Allen, or I could run with someone on my bench. We got Deonta Foreman, Demarcus Robinson, Valdez-Scantling, Van Jefferson, Terrence Marshall. I'm about to tell you, I think you maybe you just go Demarcus Robinson. I know it's really hard to trust the wide receiver in that Baltimore offense, but I don't know. You can't play Trevor Siemian behind the Bears offensive line, man.
Why can't you? Because I'm going to tell you right now,
he's going to get killed.
You play the quarterback in the Superflex position. I understand the appeal for Demarcus Robinson, Valdez-Scantling, Van Jefferson, and all that. But if they don't hit, you are going to get, not even close to what a quarterback can get you on average. Now, if Simeon or Kyle Allen have an abysmal Nathan Peterman-like day, obviously nothing's going to be any good for you.
Which I think that could happen to Simeon. Like, I'm going back to remember what the Bears offense was the first 5 or 6 weeks when they were keeping Fields in the pocket. Remember how bad that was?
But Simeon is a pocket passer, though.
It's just a matter if
Fields is not.
It's just a matter if he can stand in there and have time to make the right read. That's what worries me there. But maybe we
lean Simeon because he has better weapons than Kyle Allen, and Kyle Allen's offense runs the ball even more than the Bears. All right, and they don't. I mean, so it's Simeon for me, but I understand the appeal for like a Deonta Foreman or a Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, I can't.
You just play. You play a quarterback in the Superflex. You know this. It's the biggest advantage in a Superflex league is having the ability to play a second quarterback every week.
The problem is they still might not outscore the guys if they're really, really bad quarterbacks like they are in this case. That's the thing. You want the guy who's going to score the most points. And in this case, it's a toss-up for me.
Well, that's the thing.
The quarterbacks have the ceiling. The quarterbacks have the highest ceiling to score the most amount of points. But with these two guys, I just don't know if that's going to be the case in their situation because they're not set up for success.
But Demarcus Robinson also is dealing with Mark Andrews, Devin Duvernay, now Gus Edwards, that's healthy, Kenyon Drake. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors in play there for Demarcus Robinson. Why he was so good is because of the injuries were kind of, bumping him up a little bit. You got Valdez-Scantling, who's just not consistent at all. You got Terrence Marshall, not going to play him. You got Van Jefferson, not playing him with Bryce Perkins possibly starting. So it's between Deonta Foreman and Simeon for me.
Yeah.
And in that case, I do lean the quarterback, but I can understand going Foreman because Foreman could actually outscore him if he scores twice.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
That's the only way he's going to outscore Simeon is if he scores twice, I think.
Got a live question for Dion. Good morning, man. ETN.
Good morning, man.
Latavius Murray, P. Ryan, Brian Robinson, Juju for the flex. It's ETN for me still.
There's a lot of options. ETN's got a tough matchup, man, against the Baltimore Ravens. They've been a little bit more stout since getting Roquan Smith. But you still play him. It's just temper your expectations, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's proven to be the every week starter, man. I don't that matchup proof doesn't really scare me. And Baltimore is,
but if
they won 13-3 against Carolina last week.
But
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing. If
They're not blowing anybody out.
If the Jaguars have 3 points, ETN's probably going to have 3 points. That's the problem. So I can understand going Latavius Murray in this situation or P. Ryan. You're not going Brian Robinson, and Juju is appealing, but you go usually the running back in that flex. I mean, the safe play is going with ETN, like Dylan said. He is the known commodity, the known starter. Latavius Murray is hyped up this week, so is P. Ryan, and you're never starting Brian Robinson unless in desperation.
Got Ingram, Gesicki, or Dulcich?
Not Ingram against the Ravens. I probably lean Dulcich.
Yeah,
because you got Judy and Hamler out.
Yeah, it's not a great matchup for them. I don't think either. Hold on, Carolina, it's okay. Yeah, go Dulcich.
I lean Dulcich.
I'll agree with you with that one.
I don't know. I know this could be just me. I'm just not the biggest Gesicki believer. Now when you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
We got Everett, Ingram, or Komet in the flex, at the tight end position. Let's answer that first. I think that one, go Komet still.
I lean Everett with Fields out.
Yeah, and I understand that. Just he's battling something too, isn't he?
Everett is battling something too, so monitor that. If he's out, obviously you go Komet then in that situation. I'm benching Ingram this week. He may score, but it's going to be a one catch game for him, I think.
And then flex ETN or Pacheco. Can't Kansas see this kind of has blowout potential here in the Kansas City game, so that might lead to Pacheco seeing a bunch of work. So this could be a really good game script for him, but I'm still leaning ETN. I'm curious your thoughts, Mike. What do you think?
It does bode well for the script for him. I don't, man, that's not the Chiefs game. I just lean ETN. Pacheco's he's the guy now because CH is on IR, but there's still McKinnon there. He's getting the PPR work. Mm-hmm. So Pacheco, I mean, he's mixed in the red zone. It's still a committee in the red zone, and that's what I want to see more because Pacheco's the lead guy during the early down work, but I want to see him be the lead guy in the red zone work, in these high value touches, and it's split right now. Yeah. So I lean the guy that's going to get the majority of the red zone, the carries, the targets, and that's ETN.
Yeah. And I don't know. Did you see if Darrell Henderson was active or inactive? I did not get that yet. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Juwan Johnson or Foster Moreau? Oh. I think it's Juwan, man. 3 straight weeks with a touchdown, double-digit fantasy points in 4 straight weeks, I want to say. I think you trusted a little bit, man, with the red rifle. That's where I lean. And Foster Moreau, he 1 catch for like 33 yards last week.
Yeah, but the week before, though, he
caught a touchdown, so he's fine. Yeah. Just like Juwan Johnson. Yeah, right. Just like Juwan Johnson. That's why Juwan Johnson's been good the last 3 weeks because he's caught the touchdown. But he's also seeing 4, 5, 6 targets, which is nice. And it seems like the Saints are always down for the most part.
It's just the Saints is not very good. Same with the Raiders, though. The Raiders aren't very good either. Man, you're shooting the shit either way with this one. But if you're gonna go with the tight end position, shoot for the stars and go with Juwan Johnson. Foster Moreau is a little bit safer in my opinion, but I mean, what's a safe tight end that's going to score you 5 points going to get you?
Yeah, not a lot.
Not very much.
We got Samaje Perine or Latavius Murray.
I go Latavius Murray in this one. I do like Perine, but Tennessee has a very good run defense. You know what you can do against Tennessee? You can pass the ball though. All right, so T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and all them. That's why I said Tyler Boyd was a little bit intriguing earlier.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
But a slight edge to Latavius Murray in this one.
Sure. I got another live one. Do you trust Rachaad White versus Cleveland today? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can run against Cleveland. I'll give you that. They've been able to run against Cleveland. My only concern here is Gio Bernard. They activated him off the IR. He could eat into Rachaad White's PPR work a little bit, and that's what made Leonard Fournette so valuable. I trust him, but it's a matter of who you trust him over.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Like, if your question would be like, because I know you brought up Pacheco a couple times, I would start Rachaad White over Pacheco.
Yeah, great. That's a great example. Rachaad White, Pacheco. Give me Rachaad White in that situation because you get a little bit more upside with the PPR work.
And then I would still lean Etienne over Rachaad White. So
that
it's
one's
kind
an
of
easy one.
in the middle.
That one's a little bit. Even with a tough matchup, I still lean Etienne over Rachaad White.
Sure. What do we got? We got Scary Terry or Rachaad White. Here we go.
That's a tier difference right there.
Yeah, it is. Different position. Terry's been a little bit better with Heineke, who's watched it play.
I trust the known commodity in the situation like this when you have a different of a tier difference here because we know what Scary Terry can do.
As well. Washington plays Atlanta as well. I don't know if AJ Terrell
Scary
is active.
Terry.
I think
I'm not going against what we just said here, but it's that situation. Yes, I trust Rachaad White, but it's who do I trust him over? Do I trust him over a Scary Terry who's been just fine with Heineke the past couple of weeks and probably is going to continue that against Atlanta, who allow the second most points to wide receivers. So I lean Scary Terry. It's close though. I mean it's definitely appealing, having Leonard Fournette out there.
Yeah, agreed. Then we got Keenan Allen versus Arizona, Alvin Kamara versus San Francisco, Rachaad White versus Cleveland. Sit one PPR. Kamara has the worst possible. He has the worst possible matchup.
And this is why I wasn't the biggest fan of Juwan Johnson, but you're shooting for the stars, Justin. He might get the one touchdown, but San Fran, man, their defense has just been studly. I mean, it's no surprise. They usually do have a great defense. They've been just shutting down opposing quarterbacks, opposing running backs too. So, man, Kamara's only scored in one game all season, and it was 3 touchdowns. I'm sitting Kamara in this situation a little bit. And I like the known commodity of having him, but in this situation, I do want to take Rachaad White out for a spin.
Yeah, that's so hard to sit Kamara, and I don't know if
it is.
To do it.
It is really hard to sit Kamara. I've done it once this year, and I had to do it because he was just fucking abysmal. But it is hard to do it, and I only suggest it if you had the options. Now you have a decent option this week in Rachaad White versus Cleveland. All right, Cleveland. Where are you? Second most. Wow, they jumped. Second most points allowed to running backs on the year. They jumped the Chargers. I knew they were top 5, but I didn't know they jumped to 2. Houston's obviously number 1. You got the Browns, and then the Chargers, and then the Raiders, and then your Bears at 5.
Yeah. I think all right with you, Mike. I don't love it, but yeah, let's take Kamara out of that group.
It's not great. It's not a great feeling sitting Kamara, man.
Nah, it's a weird feeling in my stomach right now. We got half point Boyd or Olave. I know you're gonna go Boyd here. I think.
I don't know. I mean, Olave is a little. Yeah, I go Boyd, man. Any. It's the matchup, and because these guys same tier for me right now. Boyd's got a little bit of an uptick just because not Boyd, but Olave's got a little bit of an uptick just because of the target volume. Boyd's getting eaten into by Higgins and Pirine a little bit, but the matchup for Olave is not great against the Niners, guys. Right. I'm really tempering my expectations. I know he had the long touchdown last week. That could be all he has this week.
Yeah,
and it could help you. All right, but if he doesn't get that, it's not going to be good, and you're going to be wishing you started Boyd. So I think I lean Boyd in this situation because Tennessee, like I said, you could throw against them. Man, it's like we're going in phonetic order here because the Falcons were 2. Guess there's 3 Titans.
Yep.
At allowing the most points to wide receivers. So I lean Boyd.
I do as well. Keenan Kamara, Christian Kirk, start 2. I think you go Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk.
In this one, I lean sitting Kirk because he has a tough matchup just like Kamara. So they even out for me, and I go the running back in that situation because the running back will get more touch opportunity. Kirk, great option here. It's just tough matchup against Baltimore. So I lean Keenan and Kamara only because Kamara and Kirk both have tough matchups. So I lean the slightly more talented player in Kamara and the one who's going to get possibly more touches.
Get that. We got Rashad White or Najee? I'm
going
Najee. Still going Najee. Man. He looks better, man.
He does.
Yes, he looks better. He looks sharper. There's no Jaylen Warren there.
I'm surprised you feel that way about him because I know how you
I'm happy with Najee, man. I'm happy with Najee right now. It looks like his burst is back, and there's no Jaylen Warren, like I said.
He's not making cuts like Trent Richardson anymore.
He's going to get Mike. I think he's going to see all the volume similar to what he did last year because with no Jaylen Warren. And then it's Benny Snell. We saw them not work Benny Snell in all last season. So I think it's going to go all to Najee. And I really like him in this matchup against the Colts. I know the Colts defense doesn't really scare me. I know they're fine.
Buckner was ruled out though.
Yeah.
That is a big loss for the run defense. I wasn't disagreeing with you at all. I'm going Najee as well. This is another great example of Rashad White or player B. I do like player B though in this situation though because you do bring up a great point with Jaylen Warren. They know what they have in Benny Snell, and they're going to use Najee Harris.
Yep, I like it. Cooper, Keenan, Allen, Christian Watson, Hollywood Brown. Need one. Okay, let's start there. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Christian Watson, Hollywood Brown. I'm gonna go
between Keenan Allen and Cooper.
Give me Keenan Allen, I think. I'm trusting Keenan Allen, man. We saw him finally. I don't know how many snaps he played. I don't have it pulled up, but he made it through a game. So you can now trust him. I mean, injuries can happen at any point, but that hamstring's better.
I love that.
I
don't have the snap counts up. He made it through a game. That's the important thing here.
Exactly.
He made it through a game. He had a snap percentage of 67.7, which was the least out of all the receivers, even behind Palmer, DeAndre Carter. I mean, other than Mike Williams because he was injured.
But maybe you see him get 75% of the snaps and Keenan Allen at 75% of the snaps. I will take.
Man, this team is missing Gerald Everett. I'm looking at their tight ends right now for the backups of who played snaps.
Trey McKitty, right?
You got Trey McKitty, Richard Rodgers, and Stone Smart.
Stone Smart, I love that name. That's tough. Where are you going though, Mike? So we can move on. We got a couple other questions.
It's Keenan Allen for me. Okay. Well, no, I'm sorry. I meant to say Cooper. It's Cooper for me. Cooper's actually been pretty reliable. They got a decent matchup in the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense has been turning around as of late, but you can still throw on them, allowing 32.9 points to wide receivers on the year. So you still can throw on them, and they're most likely going to be down. Let's be honest. It's the Buccaneers. They're finally going to right the wrongs.
They're starting to roll, I think, and then watch them just suck this week with me saying that.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
We got in the flex.
Myles Garrett ruins it for us.
In the flex from Justin, Latavius Murray, Kamara, Marquise Brown. Here, let me give you a little side down here, man. Being a writer now and having to figure out how to spell Latavius Murray's name over and over again because it's an interesting one. And every time I read it now, but he did, and I read it in my head. I'm like Latavius. That's how you spell it. So every time I read it, that's how I want to say it. So I got to catch myself and be like, Latavius, Kamara, or Marquise Brown in the flex. And it's Latavius Murray for me.
Over? Ooh. Oh, man.
Marquise Brown on a snap.
It's not Brown. It's between Kamara and Murray. That's what I'm kind of curious about.
Mike, I think he's going to get all the touches. That's why I go Latavius Murray. He's my running back in my start-sit article, so I'm staying on brand. So, yeah.
This week, I slightly will lean Latavius with you because he is partly one of the only guys there. Like, Kamara has David Johnson now behind him. I mean, I'm not saying David Johnson's, back to prime David Johnson, but it's better than Marlon Mack. Behind Latavius Murray. I can't see Marlon Mack getting involved very much. You got Chase Edmonds on the IR, so it is a slight lean towards Murray. But, man, he's got to get a touchdown to pay off for you.
What up, Josh? Juwan Johnson or David Njoku? We talked
This
Juwan
is
a little bit earlier, but I'd go Njoku. One more
Thank you.
week with Jacoby Brissett. He likes to target that tight end.
I think Njoku's appealing a little bit when Deshaun Watson comes back.
Yeah.
And this is all just gut and eye tests. I mean, because I look at David Njoku when he's playing, guy, he is huge. He's the biggest guy on the offensive field for the Browns besides Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
And Chubb's
freak
the running
athlete,
backs. So
Yep.
I do think Njoku can be important for the Browns' success. I just don't. And it's appealing here because Njoku is showing signs of being one of those good tight ends. I mean, at least being consistent. His health is one thing, but I'm playing Njoku over Johnson.
Agreed. Flex half PPR. We got Godwin, Gibson, or Boyd. That one's Godwin for me, Mike. I'm curious if the half point sways you towards Antonio Gibson and the running back here or not.
Let me look at Gibson. They play Washington plays Atlanta. They're actually better on the run than people give them credit for. Because you could pass all over them. That's why. I lean Godwin still.
Yeah, I do as well. It's
That was a
Simeon
tough one.
over under 1.5 touchdowns. Tough week this one, Dylan. Yeah, it is. Josh, I'm debating if I'm going to have the Bears game on my second screen today or not, to be honest with you, or if it's just going to be a red zone type of day because it's not going to be pretty. And it's not a good matchup. The Jets defense, Mike,
good.
you probably remember me talking shit about how bad they were, at the start of the season. And now the Jets defense is really good. So I'm going under on the 1.5 touchdowns from Simeon.
I remember hearing, because I watch NFL Network a lot, that who was it? I think it was one of the D linemen for the Jets. They actually yelled at Solomon. I wouldn't say yelled, but they went up to Solomon like, "Hey man, why are you blitzing so much? Let us do the job as a 4-man front." Yeah. And ever since they stopped blitzing and just let the 4-man front do it, that defense has been great.
Yep.
So I'm not a huge betting man here, Josh, but I'm taking the under with Simeon.
No doubt. What do we got? Njoku or Juwan Johnson? Yep, just answered it. We're gonna go Njoku, George.
It's Njoku, George.
The Jets start White also. Yeah, I mean maybe it gives the young guy confidence, man, because the Bears defense isn't good. All their pieces are gone.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's why because if the Bears defense maybe was a little bit better, I'd be like, all right, maybe they can get some turnovers from Mike White, get in the red zone, then you got a chance.
Just don't have much talent, man, outside Eddie Jackson, and that's really about it.
That's really about it.
And maybe Jalen Johnson, he's a solid, but full PPR, Foster Moreau or Kmet.
I go. Oh, man, it's hard because the whole thing with Kmet is Justin Fields.
Yeah, I know. I think it's Moreau here. I'm gonna go Moreau.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Better quarterback play. Yeah. And from Brandon, Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Michael Carter, or Damian Pierce as the flex PPR.
PPR is the key right here.
Packers play the Eagles. The Eagles' run defense is a little better since they're just signing big men off the street. They signed Sue, right? And they signed Linval Joseph to clog up the middle.
Let's see what they did.
They lost Jordan Davis, right? That's why they were starting.
They lost him on the short-term IR.
Yeah, it's starting to get exploited in the run game there. You can't really trust Miles Sanders. I think and Michael Carter does have a good matchup, Mike. James Pierce
rolled out.
Damian Pierce rubbed me the wrong way last week. We saw what could happen, man, with the awful game script. The offensive line wasn't doing their job, and Pierce was just brutal. He's not involved in the passing game, really. So I think you just go with your safe bet here and go Aaron Jones, Brandon.
Thank you for saying that, because I was just going to say the Eagles last week, even though they got Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, they were still 12th at allowing the most points to the running back last week. Now they did play Indianapolis, who have featured Jonathan Taylor. So I look at it like this: when they play a good running back, they can be beat. Aaron Jones is a good running back. So I play on Aaron Jones in this situation, especially with the PPR work, because the Packers are probably going to be down. I'm a Packer fan here. I don't think they're going to win this game.
Right.
So, I mean, I think they're going to be down. They're going to use Aaron Jones in there, so it adds more of a ceiling there for him as well. So I lean Jones here in this matchup. It's a great problem to have, though.
Agreed. Good on you, Dion, for being 11-0. I'm in 12 leagues, I think, and I'm not 11-0.
He's 12-0, not 11-0. 12-0.
No, he's going for 12-0.
Oh, why?
We're in
I'm
week 12
Burgundy.
now.
You can't put it on there. I'll read it.
From Victor, what's up, man? Pick 2 from Kamara, Rashad White, Latavius Murray, or P. Ryan. Man, oh man, this is really doing.
I know all
Putting
these
us in
Kamara questions.
The ringer here, yeah, and I'm trying to remember who we said to start him over. That's tough. I think it's Latavius Murray, and we did say earlier to start Rashad White over Kamara, and I think but P. Ryan's there as well. It's Latavius Murray for me for one of them for sure.
That's your number one lock, huh? Is Latavius
That's
Murray
my number one lock, yeah.
Okay.
For this week.
Okay.
And give me Rashad White here over P. Ryan and Kamara. He also has Dameon Pierce if we want to throw him in there as well. Actually, man, that does kind of throw a wrench into it. I know I just kind of shit on Dameon Pierce a little bit, but we also can't forget, Mike, that he had like 5 straight weeks of at least 15 fantasy points.
Oh, shit.
What happened?
Nathan Peterman is starting for the Bears. Simeon got hurt with his oblique in warmups. Even worse.
Josh, if you're still watching, that game's not going on my second screen. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to myself. Oh, you don't want to watch
Nathan Peterman? I say Nathan Peterman one time on the podcast, and sure as shit,
dude,
he's starting.
Every time I hear Nathan Peterman's name, I just go back to the Hard Knocks when he was on the Raiders and Gruden was there, and I just hear, "God damn it, Nate!" Just screaming that over and over. God damn it, Nate!
That's some big info right there. I know it's not, Simeon's not a starting quarterback, but still to have Peterman now starting.
It's not Komet anywhere now, guys. I'm sorry, Nate Peterman.
No, you're sitting there. I mean, this honestly
is a big squad, guys.
This is a big tick down for Montgomery, in my opinion, too, as well, because with Peterman, he's a turnover machine. You don't have the ball. You can't run the ball with Montgomery. You can't get your, solid volume with him, especially against a tough defense as it is already. I mean, this really is a down tick for Montgomery in some situations here, and I actually want to probably sit him over, who I got as another option.
I'm pulling up my team right now so I don't forget to start Jeff Wilson over Montgomery.
But let's get back to Victor's question here before we get off the rails here. All right, my lock, I think, is Rashad White. Great matchup against the Browns. He's going to get majority of the workload. I'm not a big Gio, Bernard believer. He still will get some of the workload there. But Rashad White's the lock for me. And because it's PPR, this is the reason I didn't go Kamara earlier, because it wasn't stated PPR, half PPR. Since it's PPR, I am going Kamara as the second one here.
You're fooled though, I think, Mike. I think you're no. He doesn't get enough in the passing game work. You got his numbers pulled up? Let me see.
Yeah,
show me.
Pull up his
Prove it.
Oh, I love proving it to you.
But while you're looking it up,
Alvin Kamara, the past 3 games, has a 15.7% target share. In those 3 games, he's gotten 13 targets, 10 reception, averaging about 4.3 a game.
Okay. So that's a good
So I still lean Kamara. Yeah, just because Latavius Murray, this is all kind of like hype, and we're pushing Latavius Murray there. And I get it. He's your start of the week. And, stick behind your gut and your brand. I get that. But I lean the safer option in Kamara. And then I want that ceiling play in Rashad White.
All right, right on. Deonce agrees with us. He is yeah, no doubt. Man.
I just saw that.
No doubt. Next, what we got? P. Ryan, Murray, or Gibson? Which one gets the start?
P. Ryan, Murray, or Gibson? That's Gibson for me.
Who's watched it play? Refresh my memory for me.
Atlanta. It's a tough matchup, but out of these guys, I like it's between Murray and Gibson ultimately.
Murray for me. Yep.
But I lean Gibson. He's been safer these past couple of weeks. The volume is there, the snap counts are there. This is why you're sitting Brian Robinson. So for me personally, it's Gibson slightly over Murray, but I can understand why you'd play Murray.
Braylon Burks or George Pickens?
Oh man, who's
George Pickens for me? You already know.
Well, I know that's for you. Pittsburgh plays Indianapolis, and then who's the other one? Traylon Burks. They play Tennessee. Where'd you go? Oh, Tennessee Titans. They play Cincinnati. That's a tough matchup as well. Give me Traylon Burks. Yeah, I do. I'm not a big fan of the passing game in Pittsburgh yet. I believe it or not, I somehow believe more in Ryan Tannehill right now and the Titans. So give me Traylon Burks slightly.
What more does he got to do?
George Pickens? What more?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got to see more. Imagine he's got to
more
go
targets,
see more shit targets for like Deontay Johnson does for you to trust him.
Well, that's the whole thing is they're shit targets right now.
Yeah,
I mean George Pickens. I mean, you remember how I told you Alvin Kamara has a 15.7% target share the past 3 games? That's more than George Pickens' 15.6.
George Pickens, he's a Gabe Davis type, man. He's going to do well when he scores, and he's really, really, really freaking talented. He might be more talented than Gabe Davis. He just doesn't. He's not attached to Josh Allen.
See, if it's a question between Pickens and Deontay Johnson, I will lean with you Pickens this week because the past 3 weeks they are dead even with targets.
Let's ride.
But I'm sitting Pickens to Traylon Burks.
We going Palmer or Devonta Smith, dog?
Ooh, Palmer with Mike Williams out.
You're bought in, huh?
They play the Arizona Cardinals. Let me go look at how many points they allow to the wide receivers.
You don't need to. You talk me into it.
9th most.
Everybody gets points against Arizona, so yeah, go there. Full PPR pick 2. We got James Conner, Ken Walker, Aaron Jones, and you got Travis Etienne. I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate James Conner right away. So that leaves Etienne, Aaron Jones, Ken Walker.
I got my 2 if you want to go first.
No, go ahead. You explain.
Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. I'm sitting Etienne just in this matchup. Baltimore has been really good since getting Roquan against the run. Where are you? 20. So that's, I mean, we'll call it last week. They were 4th best against the run against Deontay Foreman. I mean, now it's Deontay Foreman. All right. But they have been better against the run since getting Roquan. I mean, obvious. But it's Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. Kenny Walker's got a great matchup against the Raiders. And Aaron Jones, we already talked about him earlier, getting that PPR upside.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. It's Walker and
Richard
is Jones.
Richard just confirmed what I said. He goes, it makes Montgomery even a riskier start in the Slack channel.
You don't want to start Montgomery. It's not. They might not score, guys.
They might not.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's the defense that scores for him, I think.
Watch the Jets win like 13-0 or something. 10-0, something like that. We got Josh Palmer or Paris Campbell. Full PPR. It's Josh Palmer.
That one's Palmer as well. God damn. You start Palmer whenever Keenan Allen or Mike Williams is out.
Yep.
And apparently last week you start them even if they're out, if they are starting. But I can take us on some on our next questions here. All right. Next one we got here. Pick 2, full point PPR. Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk.
It's Keenan Allen and Waddle.
Yep, it's Keenan Allen and Waddle for me. Kirk is appealing there, but matchups mean so much more for a wide receiver, in my opinion, than a running back. And Kirk has a tough matchup against the Ravens, just as good against the run as they are against the past couple of weeks. Baltimore Ravens, top for looks like 14th best at defending against wide receivers last week. So I'm leaning Waddle Allen. So on to the next question here. We got Charlie. It's always fun when he gets those touchdowns. Waddle. Pittman Jr. or Michael Carter in the flex this week?
It's Pittman, man.
Even with no James Robinson?
Yeah, it's Pittman. He still sees the volume. Yep. It's Matt Ryan's just chucking it all over the field still. It's Pittman.
All right, now I just want to. Where did the? Yeah, well, yeah, it is. It is Pittman. Steelers. I mean, they are top 10 in being the worst at defending the pass. And I was thinking maybe last week it was going to be a little bit better. You get T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, a little bit back, but they were still seventh worst at defending the wide receivers. So I lead Pittman. Oh, we got a QB question here. Oh, we got a live one.
Yep.
We got a live one here.
Another QB question. I thought that's right where you were leading us anyways. You got
That's
Brady
funny.
Heineke or Geno? It's Brady. Quick answer. It's
Man.
Brady. Yep.
Your safe answer is Brady. Your safe answer is Brady. Go to the ceiling, play with Geno if you really want to push the envelope here. On average, the Raiders it's like a top 10 finish to QBs. The worst finish they've allowed all year was Andy Dalton, and it was a QB 16 finish. So I mean, Geno is very appealing in this matchup. You play your quarterbacks against the Raiders, but Brady is the safer play. He's getting his shit together.
Yes, he is.
All right, but let's do another quarterback question here. And Brian wants to know Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert. For me, I do like Herbert more. Only because, and I'm going out on a limb here because it doesn't seem like the Dolphins are even going to do this throughout the year. But I think the Dolphins just smash Houston. And I really do think they try to get this run game involved a little bit more instead of just throwing the ball 40 times with Tua unnecessarily. Yeah. So I do lean Herbert in this one. But, man, Tua with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, that's so fun to watch. It's hard to bench that as well.
Yeah, he's been awesome. I go Herbert as well, though.
All right.
Then we got Josh Palmer or Christian Watson. It's Palmer.
That one's Palmer, yeah. I mean, Watson's appealing here, but not over Palmer.
Yeah, tough matchup for Watson as well.
Big time. James Bradbury, Gardner Johnson, big play, Darius Slay.
Yep.
So he's got some tough cornerback matchups.
What's up, John? We got Watson or DK?
John? Ooh, man, you got to come at me with that Watson question because I'm a Packers fan, right, John? No, it's DK. It's appealing here with Watson, man, but you play DK against the Raiders. Raiders are not good against wide receivers, running backs, or quarterbacks. It's just how it is, man. You play your wide receivers. I'm just praying. I'm praying it's not Tyler Lockett that gets the 2 deep touchdowns. For some reason, it's been him.
Are we all in on Jeff Wilson this week? Otherwise, I've got Gibson or Pacheco on the bench. It's close, man, with Gibson and Jeff Wilson. But yeah. Jeff Wilson's matchup, man, I think you're hammering Jeff Wilson all day. He's going to be the chalkiest of chalk plays on DFS.
Jeff Wilson has a juicier matchup than the turkey I had this Thanksgiving. The Houston Texans.
Turkey, man, you had ribs.
I did have turkey. I had turkey on one day, and I had ribs on actual Thanksgiving. Right. But same difference. Those ribs were juicy as hell as well. But that's how juicy this matchup is for Jeff Wilson. The most rushing yards allowed to any team, Houston Texans. Most points allowed to any running back, Houston Texans. Raheem Mostert out. Everything is just a recipe for Jeff Wilson to explode.
Yeah, that's where we go.
All right. Brian here has a question. He wants to know Chris Godwin, Devontae Smith, or Michael Pittman?
That was a close one, man. That's tough between Godwin and Pittman for me.
Mm-hmm. I actually answered this one on the post. I said the same thing. It's close, but it's Godwin slightly for me. I like the talent. I like the talent a little bit more than Pittman. I like the matchup a little bit more for Pittman compared to Godwin. But typically when it comes to, kind of evening those out, you take the talent over the matchup any day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go Godwin as well.
All right.
What do we got for the next? We got Tyler Boyd, Cortland Sutton, or Rashad White in the flex. PPR league. Said PPR, so I'm going to go Sutton here. I know you like to put the running back in the flex.
Well, I mean, of all people, I was super high on Cortland Sutton going into this year, and probably if week one, I'd be telling you Cortland Sutton here. But this is a situation where, because it is a PPR league, I do lean Rashad White just slightly. Tyler Boyd. I'm going Tyler Boyd over Cortland Sutton. Basically, Dylan, I'm not starting Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
I
actually
that's just my
like him
opinion.
I actually like him with no Hamler, no Judy. So
I get that. I get that as well. I just don't like Russell Wilson. I mean, your wide receiver's as good as your quarterback, and right now that quarterback's not very good. He has more bathrooms in his house than he has touchdowns. So
yes, sir.
all right. So we got another quarterback question here because first Fields is out. That injury's killing Adam right now, but he needs to know: is he playing Heineke, Ryan Tannehill, or Kenny Pickett? Oh man, I don't like. I'm starting Heineke in Scott Fish Bowl, and I'm not excited about it.
Yeah,
but it is a good matchup against the Falcons. Where Tennessee, the Bengals have been good this year. Now granted, last week they allowed, top 6 in running back points allowed. They played Najee. I think I lean Heineke.
yeah. I think
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
It's Heineke.
It's tough between him and Tannehill. I don't want Matt Ryan against Pittsburgh's defense with
Because
TJ
if that
Watt coming
Bengals
off the edge.
defense stays competitive, I can totally see it just being a Derrick Henry, Dontrell Hilliard type of day. Maybe Treylon Burks gets a deep pass here and there. But if it stays, competitive, it's going to be hard, I think, in my opinion, for Tannehill to be relevant only unless they get down, which the Bengals have been struggling lately. It's hard for them to actually get up, and they don't have Jamar Chase, so I don't expect them to just blow them out.
Sure. Yep, Josh Simeon out already, man. He's straight his oblique in warm-ups, I guess. So it's a Peterman kind of day. That game's not going on the other screen. Definitely not. Hey, Dino, Wilson or Cooks? Jeff Wilson, I'm assuming. And
I was going to say, is it Garrett Wilson or Jeff Wilson?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It might be Garrett Wilson.
Let him answer that quick, and then we'll go back to John, because John actually had another question here. He wanted to know Devontae Smith or DK.
DK.
That's still DK for me. Just slight. I would say slightly here because Devontae Smith does have a tougher matchup against the secondary of Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is. Dino said it is Garrett Wilson. It's Garrett Wilson or Brandon Cooks. I go Garrett Wilson. Gets a bad Bears defense. Mike White.
Yeah.
Mike White is probably going to be better than what we saw from Zach Wilson, and I think his weapons are going to benefit a little bit from it. So
got Kyle Allen throwing to Brandon Cooks too.
Yeah.
So it's not much better. At least Mike White, he has some starting experience. Like I honestly consider Mike White and Kyle Allen pretty even. So then I look at the talent, and Cooks is talented, but he's on his way down. Wilson's on his way up. Give me the upside of Wilson.
Yeah. Agreed. And Josh, who's the emergency quarterback? That I'm assuming it's David Montgomery. Yeah, we've seen him run out of the Wildcat before and stuff, and yeah, that's where I would go. I mean, you might as well at this point, you might as well just run the Wild Bear, man, with Montgomery back there. My Peterman experience, I'm out on. But yeah, I just assume it's probably David Montgomery. Because they can't activate anybody else off the practice squad. Peterman was already on the practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd have to be maybe Tristan Ebner. Run him out of the Wildcat.
Yeah, man, something. But let's rapid fire. We got about 3 minutes left, Mike. So you want to rapid fire these, or you want me to?
I could do it. All right. Jets or Broncos defense? It's Jets defense now. All right. Whether bad in Cleveland, possibly. We start Mike Evans, Josh Palmer, or Terry McLaurin. I like the way he spelled it. He spelled it McLaren. It is Mike Evans for me. Devontae Smith or Chris Olave. Both tough matchups here.
That one's Olave still.
Yes. Just there's not many other options there besides Kamara and New Orleans.
Got a live one from Jason. Happy Sunday, my man. We got half white PPR. Cordero Patterson or Damian Pierce? Still Dameon Pierce for me.
Oh man,
he disappointed real bad last week. He did, but I'm still hanging in there with him, man. I am.
Yeah, I mean, both got. CPAT has a tough matchup in Washington. He's not getting all the workload either. It's Dameon Pierce here, but I'm tempering expectations because
Agreed.
if they get blown out, I don't expect him to get much work.
Yeah, we just can't forget how good he was for 5 to 6 weeks previous. That after just 1 week, but I agree with you, Mike. We've seen that his floor has fallen out from underneath him because this offense is really bad now.
I mean, this is what happens when you get a bad offense. I mean, not every offense can have a James Robinson being produced out of an Urban Meyer offense. Yeah. So, I mean, weird things happen. This is fantasy football. This is why we play.
Yep.
All right, on the next one. All right, pick one. James Conner, Rachaad White, Samaje Perine.
Go Rachaad White.
Yes, that's the ceiling play here. If you want to play it safe, go Conner. But I'm playing Rachaad White personally. Samantha wants to know, Conner or Cooper?
Go Amari Cooper.
Yep, Amari Cooper it is. Russell, James Conner or Debo in the flex? Half-point PPR.
Debo.
Man, very nice seeing him do that last week. Half-point PPR, though. Yeah, it's Debo.
But we are at 11:30, Mike. So if you want to take us out, we did answer.
We are a podcast for the people. We're doing one more.
All
right. Pick two. Conner, Monty, Palmer, or Dameon Pierce?
That's going to be Dameon Pierce and Palmer for me.
Palmer and Conner for me.
Right on.
All right. Glad we can end it on a disagreement because I'm sick of agreeing with you.
You're an asshole.
All right. It was fun having answering all your guys' questions, guys. We do have a blast. I hope you guys had a blast with us. Make sure you like, comment below, do whatever you need to do. We really appreciate it, and it really does help us. It helps us coming back. It helps motivate us to come back as well, guys. We love coming back to talk to you. But make sure you check out the live, any other podcasts we'll be setting out on the weekend and the weekdays. We got Herm's Lateral podcast. We got Richard's podcast as well. We got Joe's and AJ's podcast on Thursday. And then don't forget about the waiver wire pod as well from Herm's. And then join me and Dylan later tonight as we discuss the Sunday night breakdown of all the games. Trying to think of anything else here, Dylan, unless you want to chime in.
Smash the likes, smash the subscribe button. We appreciate it, guys. If we helped you out this morning.
I mean, I'd punch my keyboard to like it, but I'd probably break the keyboard.
Even if we fuck you in your matchup this week, telling you to start the wrong guy, please still hit the like.
Hey, that's one thing. I'll end this on this note, guys. Hey, we're not always right. We're man enough to admit when we're wrong. All right. But we're looking for consistency in the fantasy football world, and we're hoping to be one of the two of the most consistent people that you guys rely on for the year. Yes, so if we can provide you consistency, that's all we ask for, and we hope you win.
See you next week, DM.
Oh, the return of Watson. But everybody, good luck in their Week 12 matchups. For Dylan, I'm Mike. Peace out.